I'm going to be a good girl this time and not forget to do it. So I can share it with the rest of the ladies that can join us today. And for all of you that don't know me, my name is Natalia, of course. I am a dating and relationship coach. I have been helping women my whole life pretty much, formally in a business way for over 20 years. I have been helping women to be more successful, more connected, happier, healthier. And for the last past 5 years, I have been helping women full time. I finally could go full time. It took me a while to find and create true love with a man. So, why should you listen to me? Well, first of all, I'm telling you, you have your intuition and you know who you are. So the first person you should listen is you. But why should you listen to me? It's because pretty much what I am going to be sharing and all my work is based on 30 plus years of studying psychology, philosophy, and what makes human beings tick, what makes human being to be in a way and not in another way, and how come some people seem to have an easier time getting what they want and some others have a harder time. I was in that realm. For me it was really hard to get what I wanted. Okay, let's let Emily in. And so for me, it was really hard. I always struggle with finding love, with creating true love, and so I had my Joni. Welcome, welcome, Emily. Um, mm, mm. So yes, so I struggled. I was always in a relationship, but it wasn't a very fulfilling relationship until I became a wife in my early 30s. I married a guy, and before the marriage, he was fantastic. He was like, like everything and more. I never even thought I could be treated in that way and felt that way. I felt amazing. But once we got married, things changed dramatically. He became abusive, he became overly critical. I couldn't do anything right in a nutshell. I couldn't cook right, I couldn't speak right, I couldn't, what I was doing for a living wasn't right. I was bad in bed, I was bad at everything pretty much. So I endured that for a while until one day I started to do the work. One day I decided that I wanted to do something about it because it felt really bad and debilitating. I believe that when we as women are with an amazing man, with a high value man, with a man that loves us and cherishes us and really wants to to be the soft landing place for us to land, our lives just blossom. We can do absolutely anything we want and we can be anything we want. And that, thank God, is my reality today. But back then, I wasn't with that. My ex-husband was providing me the opposite of that. So my whole life sucked because I couldn't really be at my best. Anyway, long story short, I come back home one day from work. I wasn't supposed to be there. I just had forgotten a jacket. And I found him in my house with another woman. And that was a big wake up call. That was the time when I decided that I was going to really commit to doing the work. That the pain was so strong that I promised myself that I was going to learn everything I could in order to not go through that again. I knew by then, I was 32 at that time, that I did wanted to get married again, and I did wanted to share my life with a special man. I always knew that, and that didn't change. But I knew I wanted to do it right and in a way that I was feeling happy and uplifted and all that. So that became my journey of 5 years of studying everything I could regarding love, dating, relationships, men, communication, boundaries, da 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 da. And I went on 200 first dates in 2 years. So I learned a lot about men, about what they want, what they don't want, how I feel when I am with them, what makes me tick, all the things. And that was when, after those 200 dates, I moved to Vegas from Florida. I was living in Florida at that time. I moved here and immediately I met my husband. And when I met him, we just clicked and we have together since over 15 years now, knock on wood. And it's awesome and it gets better and better and better. And I adore him. He adores me. He cherishes me. He's just an amazing man. He's super generous, thoughtful. He's healthy. He's funny. He's super funny. So he really, really, really is a great guy. He's very accepting of me and all my different things. I hope we get to be in our we get to keep being together, and maybe we can follow each other on Facebook or Instagram if we are not yet, and you'll see that I am very expressive and I like to live a full life, and he supports me 1,000%. So that's a little bit why I do this, because I know what it is to want it and not have it, and I know what it is to do the work to create it. So do you have any question? Do you have anything to say about that? Oh, Larry. Okay, Larry is a man, but he's a coach, so I'm gonna let him in because I know him and I adore Larry. So I would like if any one of you could share a little bit about why you are here. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you. Yes, it's the I call it the Shiro journey rather than the hero journey. You know, there is a writer, Joseph Campbell. He wrote many, many books about the hero's journey, how, you know, you go from not knowing, from the struggle, and to start to learn and to get there, and then there are setbacks, and then there is more winning, and then he becomes a hero. And so I called Finding Love our own Shiro journey, where we do that because it's not linear, and it's not something that we go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It's more like a roller coaster. So yes, so I love that. So anybody would like to share why you are here today? Very briefly. I'm gonna shut up for a second. Lift your hand. I'm gonna count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Mississippi, 10, Mississippi, 10. Okay, nobody wants to share a story. Anyway, if you have any questions, type them in and I will try to answer them in the moment or maybe at the end, okay? So the agenda for today, so you know what we are going to be talking about, is going to be all about, I am going to be sharing with you only 3 things. There are a lot of things, but only 3 things to understand men. And why is this? Why I thought this was going to be so important to do. This is a brand new masterclass that I am giving today. Why I think it's so important. I think it's really important to know men because when we do know them, when we know who they are and what is their energy and what is their mindset and how they think and why they do the things they do, then by the way, ladies, a lot of them before we learn about men don't make sense. When we know that, we can finally relax. And I am all about you, ladies. Whoo, relaxing, relaxing, relaxing. Let's give our nervous system a break and let's relax. Let's finally let's make it 2025, the rest of 2024 and 2025, the year where we are chilled. It's really, really important that we as feminine women relax, because when we relax, we feel good. And when we feel good, we do good. Okay. So getting to know men, when we do know men, when we do know why they do the things they do, helps us to have an inner frame of reference to really, really have an understanding. You know, as women, we always want to know why. That is something that is ingrained in us. That's one of the things that makes us unique. For everything that happens, we need to know why. And it's really, really hard for us to let it go. So we get a why that is from your inside. So it doesn't have anything to do with he's doing, with what he's saying, or anything like that. So it's really, really empowering us from the inside out. And that is why I wanted to share these three things about men. My intention is to give you that a little bit more of an inner reference. So if you meet a man, if you're dating or if you're in a relationship, if you want to write down on the messages who is dating and who is in a relationship, that would be great. Because it's a little bit different, but you know, it's going to help both for sure. This class is going to help both. So yes, so we can finally relax, because when we don't know, when we are in that area, when we are in the unknown, what happens? We feel unsafe. So, and when we feel unsafe, when we don't feel comfortable, naturally, we are going to protect ourselves. And when we protect ourselves in any your favorite way of protecting yourself, we all have different ways. We are not going to allow that man to see us, to get close to us. So actually, fear, we think that fear is our friend, that feeling scared and feeling it's our friend because we are going to protect ourselves. But actually, fear, what it does is it prevents us from having what we want. So, and I really, really, really want you to have what you want, because I want every single woman to be happy and to be fulfilled. Because when we are happy, we feel good, we do good, and we make the world a better place. Okay, so that is the intention that I have. I want to date 61 without 3 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry about your loss. Thank you for sharing, Sherry. And ask me any questions you need to ask me. So that's going to be the agenda for today. After that, I am going to leave sometimes for coaching. So if any of you want to be what is called in the coaching world the hot seat, if you want me to coach you in front of everybody else, that would be great, because we learn the most through practice, through seeing it, through modeling. Okay, so that would be great. Or if you just want to ask me questions, I'm going to answer the questions. And at the very end, I am going to talk a little bit, very briefly, about my Epic Love Accelerator, my high-end, high-touch, one-on-one private coaching program that I have. That is my only offer. That is the only way you can work with me, is privately with me, and see if any one of you are interested in knowing more. I'm going to share the link. Right now, I have room for one woman. Okay, so I know it's not a lot, but I know the right woman is going to show up. So anyway, so let's talk a little bit of why is it that we are adult women, like I was on my 30s. I was educated. I actually had been trained as a psychotherapist for years. I was an intellectual. I was successful. I had my own business. I had my first brick and mortar business when I was 22. I spoke three languages. I mean, I looked great. Everything was good. I was doing great in my life. And how come I was so lost in with men? So one of the reasons that we have that missing part in our life is that we didn't have healthy role models growing up. So we didn't have a mother or a female caregiver that shows us how to be a go-getter, a successful woman, a boss babe, and at the same time to be, receptive and feminine and listening, all the qualities that make a romantic relationship work. So we grew up missing a part of the pie, focusing mostly on the area of business and work and being strong and having all the answers and all that, which is great. It's part of the pie. But when it comes to a relationship with a man, with a masculine energy man, it really, really, really doesn't work. Okay? So that is one of the reasons. The other reasons that I have found over the years is that we didn't have either a male, a good, healthy male role model to show us what it really looks, what it looks in real life, in practice, to be an amazing husband, to be a great, loving, adoring, devoted husband, and at the same time, being a successful man outside of the house. We didn't have that. Most of us had either or. We either had, when we were growing up, we had a dad that was really good at the outside world, and but he wasn't present, or we felt it that way. We didn't feel his presence at home. Or the opposite, like it happened to me. My dad, he was my soft place to land in my childhood, but he wasn't very successful in his outside life. He was always failing on business. He was an entrepreneur, and he will, have a business. And after a few years, 5 years, 10 years, boom, gone, and starting from scratch again. So that is another thing that could have been missing in your life. And then the third thing, the third element that is missing sometimes in our lives is culture, good cultural references. I grew up reading a lot. I loved mythology. I loved biographies. I am a nerd, by the way. I don't know if you know that about me, but I'm a nerd. And so I grew up reading a lot about classics of literature. I rarely read fiction. And I couldn't find good female role models in books. For example, in the Greek mythology, in the Roman mythology, there are only Athena is one reference that we have. I mean, it's all about men, and it's the same in popular culture. By popular culture, I mean movies, romantic comedies, regular movies, you know what I mean, all that. We really haven't been offered through culture a good model to follow. Women are either all the way into being super strong, or all the way being into what we lovingly call a bimbo, somebody, a woman that doesn't really have much going on up here. Okay, so why am I sharing this? I am sharing this because I want you to be present to this, because I don't want you to make yourself wrong, or to think for a second that what I'm going to say in a few minutes, it's about shaming you or making you feel bad. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. And I want you to really embrace that mindset that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. That's that's what I did on my 30s when I started doing the work. That was one of the first things I embraced, because I thought there was something wrong with me, and that kept me stuck. That low energy of shame, guilt, fear, it's very low energetically, and it keeps us stuck. So my intention is to bring you up to inspiration, joy, love, bliss, if possible. So there is that. And okay, so all that said, I am going to start with the first thing that I want you to really, really, really understand about men. And I have my notes there because I am very well known for going on tangents. So today I am being very good because I want to be succinct. So the first thing that we need to know about men is that they want to make us happy. They do. They do. It's in their DNA. They do want to make us happy. They do want to protect us. They do want to please us. They do want to provide for us. That is their main driver. When it comes to women, they do have this intention. So if you are feeling like, okay, yes, but where are those guys? Or I have never been around a guy like that, I invite you to question, to get into an inquiry, to question those thoughts, because sometimes we don't see it. We don't see it. And why is that? Because the way that men want to make us happy, sometimes it doesn't equal to the way that we want to be made happy. So there is a disconnect there. So for him to make us happy could be taking us on a hike. And for us, if we are not into that, that is not going to make us happy. So the point made here, the main point that I want to make regarding this is that women that are very successful in relationships, in dating, and women that are attracting high value, high quality men, they know this. They know that men wants to make them happy and they don't question it. So when they approach men, when they meet men, when they relate to men, they relate from a mindset, from a place of assuming positive intention. And I want you to write down this and I want you to say it out loud. Assuming positive intention. Assume that he has his reasons for doing what he's doing and that his reasons are positive. If you can change that mindset and start doing that, and you start to, even if it doesn't make sense, even if you are like, I don't know why is he doing that? It doesn't make sense that he wants to make me happy. Assume positive intention and tap into being curious and ask yourself, what else could this mean? Yes, I am making it mean A. Could it mean something else? Making it mean A is the absolute truth. Do I absolutely know the truth? And usually the answer is no. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, my guy or the man I meet, or he can't do anything right. I can't meet men like that. Or the man that I am dating, I can't see that. I can't accept that. He's not making me happy. So that is another conversation, another set of questions that we need to ask ourselves that don't have anything to do with most men, high value, healthy men wanting us to make us happy. That has to do more with what is it making me as a woman to be with a man that I can't accept who he is, that I don't like who he is. How come my way of thinking, my beliefs, the way I act led me to be in a relationship with a man that I don't like? And that's where your gold is. That is the right question to ask, because when we go deep and we realize, we find out Why is it that we keep engaging with guys that are not making us happy, and we try to make them happy through convincing them, changing them, giving them a little nudge, trying to, being a little bit sweet, telling them what to do. We all have our ways. When we do all that, we are actually cheating ourselves of really, really, really getting to know these men. Because if we put our energy on trying to change a man that we don't like, because if we like him, we wouldn't change him. So we are going to use our energy for that, and we are not going to be able to ask ourselves the right questions. And the right question in this case will be, one of them is, what is making me be with these men that I don't like? Okay, so there is a question. You say that your ex-husband always criticizes. How does that behavior show positive intention to make you happy? That's a great question, Susan. That's a great question. So I mentioned that when I met him, I was I was young. I was 20 years younger than now. And although I was very successful on business and on athleticism, on areas of my life that are more masculine oriented, on this area of relationships, I sucked. So when I met him, he was what I would call now love bombing me. But I didn't know. I had no idea. This is 20 years ago. Remember, there wasn't any podcast, there wasn't any free master classes, there wasn't none of that. And that's one reason why I have a YouTube channel and all the I just finished the free summit with experts is because if I had had something like this, I wouldn't engage with him. I would have recognized, yes, it's a newer term. I would have recognized him right away, and I would have run away. I hope. Who knows? Maybe not. But anyway, let's say that. So what happened is he was showering me with love, with sex, with attention, with presence, with trips, with everything. I mean, it was just incredible. Jewelry, name it, until we got married. And then when we got married, that's when things changed and when the criticizing started. Okay? So, and that intention, that behavior of him, no, it wasn't positive. It wasn't positive. That's why he is my ex-husband. Okay? So the thing is, right, right. Unless I had done the work. If I have done she says you couldn't have known his true character. I will tell you, my clients, they learn how to identify a man that is not healthy. So all those are very good questions, but what we are talking about here is about a healthy man. It's about a man that is in his healthy masculine energy. Okay? So my ex-husband wasn't. He had his issues, and God knows what happened with him. I wish him the best, and I hope he found help and that he didn't, hurt other women. But he wasn't healthy. It's just that I couldn't see it at the time because my level of consciousness, my level of awareness, and my knowledge of what a healthy man looked like was zero. Zero. I had no idea. That's why it took me so long to learn about it. So I hope I answered your question. And let's move to number two. So the first one is they want us a healthy masculine energy man. He wants to make us happy, period. And we assume positive intention unless he shows us any signs of being part of the dark triad. That is the psychopaths, the narcissistic men, and the Machiavellic. Now, most guys are healthy. Most guys are healthy. Not too many guys fall into those categories, okay? So the second one is they want to win. They want to win. When they are going through life, they have like a little, they have like a little red thing in, I don't know how to mute. Emily, okay, there we go. I mute. Yes, sorry about it. So they want to win. When they are relating to the world, they are totally different than us women, that feminine women. They want to win. That's how they see it. They're like, am I winning or I am losing? I am winning or I am losing. So why I chose this second character trait to show you today is because it goes really well with the fact that they want to make us happy. So if they are with us, let's say we meet the guy and we start dating, and let's say um, we are not receiving. He wants to pay for dinner, and we're like, no, no, let me pay. I want to pay half. He wants to pick us up, and we are like, no, I'm gonna drive there. I want to take you to this restaurant. No, I don't like that. I want to go to this restaurant. So if we have that attitude, or more subtle things, facial expressions, things that he said that we are like, making the facial expression. My face is really, really expressive. So I can kill with my eyes. I'm so freaking strong. So I had to really be careful with this. I say, loving eyes, loving eyes. I tell my dog that today, loving eyes, loving eyes. So anyway, so if we fall into those unconscious ways of being, he's going to feel like he's losing. And if he's losing, he's not going to feel good about us. He's not going to feel good about being around us. So he's going to start to shut down. And as I always said, if we cannot let a man win, appreciating, receiving, even if I know this you may not like it. I know you may cringe at what I'm gonna say. But even if the gift he's giving us is not our style, receive it. Say thank you and receive it. Because it's not about the gift. It's about why he's doing it. He's doing it because he wants to make you happy and he wants to win. So if he's not feeling win, 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 he's going to start to, like I said, best case scenario, shut down, create distance, be more, like not having so much time for us anymore. And that is, I don't know, to me, that's the worst case scenario. Because the best case scenario is that he will leave so we can go and meet another man. But who wants to be with a man that is shut down, that is not connecting, that is really not there for us, giving us their energy, their attention, their touch, their love? So I'd rather be alone than be with a man like that, but that's my personal choice. So that's what's going to happen. So we have to be really, really what to do is what I was saying. Learn how to receive. Men, when I learned this, when I understood that men wanted to win with women, my whole relationship with men changed. My whole relationship with men changed. And for example, to give you an example with my current husband, when we met over 15 years ago, he used to come to see me with, as I mentioned, he's very generous and thoughtful, with bags of gifts, like clothes. He will get me a lot of clothes for some reason. And so he'll come to my house, knock the door, and I'll open the door, and there, the cutest thing ever, will be standing there with two bags with clothes, with gifts. And I'll be like, oh, thank you. And I'll get inside and look at the clothes. And I am very, very particular with the kind of clothes I wear. I just am. And I am Latina, as you can say, so, and he's American. And so his taste wasn't my taste. But you know what I did? I said, thank you. And I opened it and I looked at it and I tried it on. And he was so happy. You could see that man just so his face, he was radiant and he was just complimenting me. And you know what else? I wore those pieces with him, of course. When I wasn't with him, I didn't. But when he'll take me on a date next day, I'll be wearing the dress. And he'll just be so happy. And really, it didn't cost me anything because I chose the connection, I chose the partnership over a piece of clothing. At the end of the day, that is not important. Okay, so keep in mind. I encourage you to keep in mind when you go outside, when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the gym, when you go to church, when you go to on a date, or when just start having that mindset of, okay, he wants to win. So how can I support him on that? Come on, ladies. As women, we want to be supported. We want to be listened. We want to be cherished. We want to be adored. We want to be all those things that really don't come that naturally to men. Men that don't live in that world. Men live in a world of logic, of black and white, of one plus one is two, of, goals. Let's win, let's get there. And then we come up and we expect them to be loving and intimate and connected. And they do make an
Hi
effort
there.
to to do that. Sorry, I'm gonna mute. So can we make an effort to meet them in the middle for a great guy, not for a crazy guy, for a great guy that we like and that we are attracted to. Okay, so I have mixed feelings about this. Yes, and that's fine. That's fine. That's perfect. That's the perfect place to be if you have mixed feelings about this, because that means that you are open. You are open and you are seeing another way of doing things, a way that I can stand behind 1,000%. It works. Okay, so this is about listening from agreeing or disagreeing. And I invite you to just listen. Just listen. If when we listen from agreeing or disagreeing, we are leaving our critical mind out of the picture. We are coming from the past, and our past is going to let us is a yes or a no because we have all that information on our brain, and it's really, really hard to see things in a different way. So I applaud you for being here, and I applaud you for participating, and just let it wash over you. Let it wash over you. And if you want to ask me, if you want to share with me, how do you feel? I can coach you. Okay, I will answer to that at the end, Susan. Some of this sounds like the woman isn't supposed to be herself and should just go along with the guy. Okay, I'll answer to that at the end. Sherry, I had a 35-year marriage and I have only met one man with whom I was aligned and attracted to, but he was reluctant to meet in person. He's 1,000 miles away, so I had to interpret that as he's not as into me as he said. So I had to accept and move on. I have to simply trust he's out there and close. Sherry, thank you, my love. You are amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And that goes a little bit into the how to do the dating. This masterclass is more about mindset, but so what your question is a lot more simple than that. Your situation is more simple than that because it doesn't have anything to do with mindset. It has to do with what works and doesn't work. Okay, so in that case, um, what to do is I suggest you to avoid dating long distance. Why? Because to create an intimate relationship with a man, you need to be close. you need to be physically close. You need to, it's not only attraction, intimacy, connection, it's not only words. I mean, I'm sure some of you have been in a situation or know somebody that have been in a situation where on paper or over the phone it was fantastic, and then you meet the guy and there is no way in this world that you are going to keep moving forward because there is a full body repulsion about it. So dating long distance, it's a very, very, very tricky thing to do. And I really suggest my clients to not do it. Because to build an intimate, connected, juicy relationship with a man, you need to be in close proximity to create intimacy. Okay? If he's too far away, there is there is there is no way. Okay. And it's a lot deeper than that, by the way, but I'm not going to get into that because for the depth of that, it has to be a private conversation because it may have something to do with your past and things that happened to you in the past that are making you make it these decisions right now. It may or it may not, but it's a lot deeper than that. But for the surface thing, what to do and what not to do, I suggest you to not date guys long distance. Okay? Most times it doesn't work. Sometimes it does, but it's like, it's like, oh, I met my husband. I knew my husband was the one on the first date. Yeah, that happens, but it's not really usually how it goes. Anyway, let's move to number 3. The number 3 thing that I want to share with you today is that men are single focused. There is a big, big difference between how feminine energy women are, and how a masculine energy man is. And one of the difference is that men are single focused. They can only focus on one thing at a time. Women, on the other hand, we have something called diffuse attention. All these differences, by the way, are totally biological. They are there are so many people that have spent decades studying anthropology and how that affects our evolution as a species, affect the way we love. So these are things that come from studies like Dr. Helen Fisher and other people that I have had the pleasure of studying with. So women, we have diffuse attention, which is amazing. I mean, women, we are the universe, ladies. We are so powerful. In the hunter-gatherer, hunter-gatherer equation, men are the hunters and women are the gatherers. And being a gatherer, when we were outside in the field, in the African savanna, picking up fruits, berries, and mushrooms, and little greens and all that, we had to have our attention had to be like diffused. We needed to be really, really aware of everything that was happening around us. We needed to be aware that we were picking the right mushroom and not the poisonous mushroom. We needed to be aware that there wasn't a lion coming and attack us. We also needed to be aware of our baby probably hanging on our chest or on our back, or maybe we were breastfeeding at the same time. And also, as women, we were doing that together. So we needed to be aware of where the other ladies were on our tribe. So as you can see, there was a lot going on. Different than men, that men had a focus, a goal to find a rabbit and to kill it. They had to be really, really, really focused. They had to be sitting in a place, hiding behind a bush for a long time to be able to hunt that animal. So, and how that translates to modern 2024? Well, that without that knowledge, that men are single focused and that we can do it all, ladies. Um, we get upset with men. I will tell you an example of something that had used to happen to me, so you get the better idea, the big idea. So my husband, when we got married, my second husband, when we got married, he'll come home after work, and so he'll open the garage door, with the remote control, get his truck inside of the garage, and I was inside. And what I would do, I would run to the garage and say, "Hi, honey, how are you? How was your day?" And and he'll be like, mm. And that used to hurt my feelings. And I'm like, why he isn't happy to see me? We have been all day long apart. I am so happy to see him. And he seems annoyed that I'm going to the garage to greet him. So I did some research on that, and that's what I found is that men, when they, using this example, when they come from work, they are focused on that. My husband, even though he was at home and he was in his truck, in his garage, he was still working. So he was focusing on that. So what did I do? I stopped taking it personal. And that if there is something that one thing you can learn from today is do not take it personal. Do not take it personal, okay? They always, if it's a healthy man, a high value, healthy man, he always has a good reason to do for what he's doing. And so I stopped taking it personally and I waited. I didn't go to the garage. I just waited inside. I was fixing dinner. I don't know, in the bathroom, removing my makeup. I don't know, whatever. Keeping busy, I call it. Keeping busy with my things, my hobbies, my things. And oh, what happened? He would come inside of the house and he would be looking for me, all lovey-dovey. You see, this information is so, so, so important. So, so important and so life-changing in a relationship with a man, because we have the tendency to behave with men, to expect of men the same things that we expect from our girlfriends, from our other female companionships. And they are not like that. They are different. And I believe it's really, really empowering to know that, and to know that we have in our hands the choice to learn. To learn. If we get a new car, I just got a new car. If I get a new car and I don't learn how to do the car, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to mess up. So, me learning how to drive a brand new car is trying to change myself, is trying to give up who I am, is trying. No, it's just being a smart, mature, confident woman that I know that who I am is not dependent on other people. Who I am is who I am. It's me. It's the difference between inner frame of reference or outer frame of reference. If we keep getting validation for who we are, if we keep waiting and wanting validation for who we are from a man, that means that our validation is based on him, on an external thing. And that doesn't work for happiness and fulfillment, because other people, men, it fluctuates, go up and down. One day we are going to be high, one day we're going to go low. and all that. So this is about controlling our inner frame of reference. It's about controlling the meaning we give to things. Not in a Pollyanna, oh my God, all men are great. No, no, because not all men are great. Not all women are great. It's the truth. Goes both ways. But it's about choosing to learn how to drive the car so I can use this car, this beautiful resource, at the best of its ability in the safest way to get me where I want to get. And that doesn't have absolutely anything to do with who I am as a person. Okay? So when we learn that men are single focused, that when we are sitting watching TV and he's watching a game, he's focused on the game. So when we all of a sudden ask a question and he doesn't answer right away, it's not that he is ignoring us. He needs time to go from, oh my God, I am so into this Raiders football game, and what is the quarterback going to do, and where is the ball going to go? And then my loving wife is asking me a question. He needs time to change. For us, it's really easy to jump from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. You should see me running with my girlfriends. It's like we talk about 10 things at the same time, and we are really good at it. But with men, it's not the same. So them being single focused also means that when we are on a call with them, let's say we met online and we texted a couple of times, and then we get on a phone call to see if we get along the first time we are talking to the guy. If we ask question after question after question, that is going to get him off balance because he needs time to answer questions. It's not like us. We can answer questions, we can cook, we can build an empire, and we can also go to the moon. We are incredible. And that allows me to wrap it up to the end of this, that's why men love us. Men love being with us. And it's not only about sex. A lot of men actually don't have a high libido. They just want to cuddle with us or be with us. Men love being with us because what we bring to the table, they don't have it. They don't have access to it without us. I always say, we bring colors. We bring music. We bring smells. We bring all the different flavors and textures and candles. Look at me. I have a candle here. You see? We bring beauty. Look at my teacup. It's so pretty. It has gold around it. We bring beauty. We bring softness. We bring so much to their lives that they crave that. Men adore to be with us. They really, really love to be with us. And the men that we allow him to give, when we receive from a man and we are happy and we share how we feel about it, and we communicate with them in a way that they can be that they can understand and feel good, they will want to do more. A good man will want to do more. If we appreciate, if we receive, if we are happy, because he's gonna think, oh, she's happy. I'm making her happy. So I'm gonna do more of that because she's gonna be happier. But if we are in a place where we are non-agreeing, we don't agree about things, we just don't receive, we are afraid that if we receive something from a man, we are going to owe him something. all the ways that we can be, he's going to feel like, oh, I can make her happy. Oh, she didn't like that. I can make her happy. She's very difficult to please. Oh, and he's going to shut down and go and move along. Or what is worst, he's going to stay, but it's going to be a shell of a man. So, okay, I think now it's time for questions and coaching. Um, do you have any questions? I'm going to drink some tea in the minute. Okay, I will give you some extra time and I'm going to try to answer to Susan's. Is Susan here still? Yes, she's there. Okay. Yeah. Uh, so, so Susan is saying, thank you, Susan, for sharing that. I appreciate it. That some of this sounds like the woman isn't supposed to be herself and should just go along with the guy. That's a great question. That's a great question because I get that all the time, as you can imagine. Being this way is weak. It's just being just letting the guy have total control over the relationship. If I don't tell him what to do, where to go, when to do it, how are things gonna get done? And those are all totally, totally valid questions. They are, they are. We have lived for many, many years having control of everything. And, it's really, really hard to imagine, to even imagine that we could have this kind of relationship where we are the ones receiving and relaxing and just feeling good and letting the guy do the things. So absolutely, absolutely. And actually, it's all the contrary because that question what we talked today, it's all about a mindset and an energy. Okay. That question has a lot to do with how to do it, how to behave, what to do. So once we are in that place where we took our time and invested our time and energy to learn about men and we understand men and we can feel good about being around men and we are feeling really good when we receive and we let them win and we let them be themselves, we give them space and all that, then is the okay, but how do I get things done? I don't want, to just be a puppet like Susan. Susan is not saying it that way, but that's the way I say it. And it's about learning how to share what we want and what we don't want. So it's not that we are going to be like a slave, like a modern woman, a modern way of slavery. Not at all, not at all. What we are doing is on the day-to-day basis is to choose to be primarily the feminine energy in the relationship, where he is the one doing all the thinking, all the doing, all the stressing, all that, and we are the ones receiving. But when we don't like something or when we don't want something, we express it, and we express it really, really clearly in a way that he can hear us. So that is a huge part of the coaching that I do, teaching women how to express what they want and what they don't want. Okay? And that starts with having standards, knowing exactly what you are willing to do and what you are not willing to do. Even if you are dating, on the different stages, okay, from first meeting to dating to being exclusive to being engaged to being married, and even after a few years. So, what are my standards? What are my deal breakers? Okay. So, for example, if you are dating and like it was my rule, I wasn't driving to the guy. The only time I was driving to the guy was on the first date, that I was meeting him at a European bakery that was a 5 minute drive from my place. That was the place where I was meeting the guys. After that, I wasn't driving because I had met him. I had seen that he was safe. I had been texting for a while. And my standard was I don't drive. Hearing me, I didn't say he has to pick me up. No, it wasn't about him. It was about me. I don't drive. So that's what I would say, Oh, yes, of course, I would love to go on a second date. And that place sounds great. And I don't want to drive. What do you think? And then he'll say he'll pick me up. Men are very, very resourceful, super resourceful. Oh my goodness. And when we really are, when we honor who we are, when we authentically share what we want, I want you to kiss me. I want sex. I want a vacation. I want this. I want that. I don't want to have to go every night to your house. I don't want to take the garbage out every day. I don't want to clean. I don't want to cook. Oh my goodness. It's so freeing. And then you express that. Okay? I hope that helped you, Susan. It's not about not being yourself. It's about actually really being authentically yourself because you are going to express everything very clearly. But most of the time, most of the time, you have to like the guy. Otherwise, why are we even with the guy? Okay, it's like me when my ex-husband turned into Mr. You don't do anything good. I left. I left because who wants to be with a guy like that? Nobody wants to be with a guy like that. Well, I mean, any healthy, high-value woman wouldn't be with a guy like that. So, and it's the same with guys. It goes both ways. Everything I said goes both ways, by the way. Tuku. Did I answer your question a little bit, Susan? When I found Polly. Hi, Polly. When I meet someone who is very generous, I am confused about how much I am supposed to give to him. Um, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Um, do you mind telling me a little bit more? Um, yes, thank you. Let's see. No, Susan, you just don't go along. You have all the power. Women, we have all the power, but we need to know how to use that power. And like a friend of mine told me many years ago, and it hurt when she told me that. I was in my late 20s. It really hurt, but I appreciate it. She said something because I used to be an intellectual. I was like, I knew it all, whatever. And she looked at me and said, "Hi, Natalia, you will attract a lot more bees with some honey." And I was like, "Oh," but that was a good friend because most people will lie to us. Nobody wants to hurt us. So that's why a good coach is so important because we are here to say the truth. And I was lied. Everybody was lying to me because they didn't want to hurt me. My mom didn't want to hurt me. My friends didn't want to hurt me. So they were just telling me, yeah, you're doing right. The guy sucks. Men suck. Men suck. Men suck. And well, I had to do the work too because men didn't change. The men in general didn't change. There is a percentage that suck. It's like dogs. Some dogs are have rabies and they're bad, and but the rest are good. So I changed. I love a phrase that Wayne Dyer said: "When we change the way we see the world, the whole world changes." And I love that, and I live by that. So okay, my when I meet somebody, okay, Oksana, my boyfriend said he wants to see me happy and make me happy. But when I asked him to pick me up and some stuff for me, he responded he's not an Uber driver and I need to arrange my own transport.
This
Since
is
then,
finally
I never
closed.
asked
Good.
him of
Accept.
any favors to do for me, to arrange my, okay. I guess we have to set our boundaries. Yes,
My responsibility in being generous with him. Do I buy him clothes, treat him to restaurants, or is there a different?
so okay, to arrange. Um, it's all about the way we ask. There is a way to ask that works, and there is a way to ask that doesn't work. Will you mind to share with me the exact phrase you used? So that will give me a better idea. It may be that. It may be just a very simple tweak that will.
Yes. So I can say that situation was I wanted him to do something for me, so I asked to pick up some stuff, uh, and that was like a one-off thing. And he said, "Oh, I'm not like an Uber driver. Can you arrange your own transport?" I said, "Yeah, sure, why not? Like, I will do that." And that was it. So I kind of afraid to ask him again of any favors. So uh I don't know, I just want to see his masculine side doing something for me, but at the same time I'm afraid to ask after that conversation. What would you suggest?
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. That you're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And how did you ask? So I hear you that you asked him to pick you up and pick up some stuff for you, and he answered you that you need to arrange your own transport, that he's not an Uber, and since then you are feeling a little bit hesitant to ask him for anything. So tell me a little bit more about that. Is this how did you ask him? Is this a guy that you have been dating for a while, or what's his?
Yes, we've been like for 3 years together.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and by the way, I've never been to his place, never been introduced to his daughter, so it's kind of a weird situation, to the
Okay.
point that I just want to end the relationship because it's not
Mm.
progressing, feel stagnated. Um, so I'm not sure what to do. But also, he wants to see my place where I live.
He hasn't
So
seen your place in 3 years?
no, we just like meet in a neutral area, and again, I would expect man to lead in a relationship and do things, so it would be easy for me to reciprocate, I guess.
Yes. Well, you have been seeing him for 3 years and you have been, he has never been at your place. Have you been at his place?
No.
No. So you meet where, at a coffee shop or hotels?
Yeah.
How often do you see him?
Now not often, but before, yes, kind of frequently, maybe once a week.
Okay. Okay. And when you ask him that, how did you ask him? What words you use?
Uh, okay. I think it was coming from him saying, "Oh, we hadn't seen each other. Let's meet." I said, "Oh, I'm working. Could you like maybe pick me up or just help me to bring the stuff over there?" And that was his response. After not seeing me for a long time, he just responded with the Uber thing.
Hmm.
I was just confused. I don't know.
Yes. Well, I mean, you did good. Good for you for asking him for what you wanted. And I am not sure what the situation is with this relationship because I think there is a lot more to it. I am not sure, you are not sure if you want to break up with him. Um, I don't know where he is at in the relationship. 3 years, and you haven't really been at each other's place, and all that tells me that there is something going on there that maybe, are you happy with that kind of relationship?
No.
No. Okay. So if you are not happy with that and you are thinking about breaking up with him, um, he can feel that. He can feel that.
Mm.
Men are very, very, very sensitive. They're very sensible. They can feel energies as much as we do. So he can probably feel that, and that may be one of the reasons that he's been behaving the way he's behaving. So I encourage you to have a real conversation with him. Be clear first on what you want, and be clear on your standards, on your deal breakers, and have a conversation with him, and tell him that, be authentic. Share exactly what is in your heart. Say, look, I don't know, you could say something like, hey, I feel so happy that we have been sharing all these 3 years together. And it feels good to see you sometimes. And right now I am feeling a little bit bad about this. I feel confused. I don't know. Yes, so I want to have more clarity regarding where we stand, and where we are going. And then say, what do you think? And see what he says. Because we can't just cover things up with flowers. We have to have these conversations because we think that men cannot feel our feelings, but they do. They do. So I encourage you first
Mm.
to
Okay.
have an authentic conversation with him about how you feel. So the way do you mind if I coach you how to do it?
On this call or
It's very short. I'll do it here.
yeah. Thank you.
So you're going to share how you're going to say something like, "Hey, Peter, I would like to run something by you. Do you have time Wednesday at 8?" And he's going to say, "Yes, of course." Or he's going to say, "No, I'm busy." And so you're going to say when you can meet me. And you agree on a time, either way. And then when you are together, you express how you feel. So you write it down. This is all about scripting. For you, I think it's going to be really important to write down how you feel, what you want, what you don't want, and share it with him. And he's going to come back to you with whatever he's going to come back to you, and you negotiate from there. Okay? But you need to start to get aligned. Uh, you need to start to get more of what you want. You are not getting what you want, and that is making you feel yucky. And that feeling of you not feeling good is making him shut down because he wants you to be happy. Make sense?
Yes, he just tries to avoid those conversations when I want to speak with him or even text, say, or I would like to ask you something when we meet. And yeah, it never happens. Like, so I'm not sure why. Maybe he tries to avoid like conversations of serious character.
Okay, well, if he avoids that, that's about him. He avoids, he says no. I encourage you to turn the tables a little bit and make it about you. So your
Right.
Your standard for a romantic long-term relationship where you are cherished, you are loved, you are adored, you feel good. Inside of that possibility, do you envision you having great conversations with the guy, being with a healthy, mature man that can talk about things when things go well and when things are not well? So that's about you. That's your standard. I imagine the answer is yes from what you are saying. So that's your standard. And so when you talk with him and you say you want to have a conversation, you say, I feel confused about something and I want to have a conversation with you. What do you think? And he said, no, I don't want to talk about da 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 da, whatever he throws at you. That is telling you that your standards, your values, he's not able to meet them. And if he's not able to meet your standards, then your next question will be, can I live for the next 50 years with a man that doesn't want to talk about where the relationship is going or anything like that? And then you're going to say a yes or a no. And if it is a yes, you keep seeing him and be happy with it because it's your choice. Nobody is pushing you to be with this guy. It's your choice. And if you don't want to be with a man like that, you just move along and you go ahead and find a man that can make you happy, that can give you what you want.
Oh,
Okay?
that's great. Thanks very
Good.
much.
You are welcome. So let's see, Shari. I love that. Yes, Susan. Shari, I love to be coached when you're ready. Susan, I see. Ta-ka-ta. Emily to you. Why would she want to be with someone that's mean? How can? Yeah, it's that's the coaching. That's the work that we get to do. You see, going and asking those juicy questions. The quality of our love life is totally related to the questions we ask ourselves. Okay, it's not about him, it's about us. It's about what do I want? What are my standards? What are my values? What are not about him. I agree, long distance probably won't usually work, but there was no one remotely interesting locally, but maybe I wasn't ready either. That's great, Shari. Wow, you really are a diamond woman. You really are. Because yes, there is always somebody around, or at least in a distance between a distance that you can drive, not 1,000 miles. So yes, that is very common, women thinking that there is nobody in the area, and very few cases that is true. People are moving in and out all the time, and you only need one guy. And sometimes what we need to look at is our expectations and our fears and our limiting beliefs, and all the juiciness is there. So I think I answered all the questions. One more, Susan. I thought I was in a good relationship for 4 or 5 months. I have 5 more minutes, ladies. So I'm going to share okay, before I forget, as I said, um, I have one spot for my Epic Love Accelerator dating and relationship coaching program. And so if you want to have a call with me, see if we are a good fit, see if this is something that you want to do, book a call here and we will get together. Okay? Um, so hold on, where is the... I thought... I agree that, okay. Susan, I thought I was in a good relationship for 4 or 5 months, let the guy unexpectedly disappear. Now I am afraid to get involved again. Well, of course, it's very normal to be afraid when we go through that. I wonder how your dating was. Um, there is a way to date that that prevents you from doing things, from investing too early. And I know it's hard because even my clients that I coach one-on-one at the beginning of the coaching relationship, they struggle with that because if we haven't been dating, if we haven't met any good guy in a while, and then all of a sudden we meet this guy and we like him, we just it's normal. You know, but the key is to not overinvest. It takes about, I'm going to say this, but there is so much more to it. So if it doesn't sit well with you, ask me questions later on. I have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group where you can ask me more questions there. You can send me an email, you can book a call with me, whatever. Okay? I'm everywhere. But it takes about 3 months for any kind of, real problem to show up. Men can fake it for a long time. It takes about 3 months usually. If, for example, if he is a lost alcoholic, let's say, and when we meet him, he's on a high. He's like, yes, I'm not going to drink. He's not saying that to us, but in his inner world, he's in that space. I'm not going to drink. I'm good. Oh, and I met this amazing woman. And yes, my life is so awesome. Ta-ra-ra, ta-ra-ra, ta-ra-ra. In between those 3 months, if he's not receiving help and in a good space, he will go back to drinking. So at the beginning, and that's with everything, they can fake it for a while. Now, the statistics, the scientific studies show that it takes about 3 months. So the first 3 months that you are dating a man, you really, really, really shouldn't invest a lot. And there is a whole mindset behind that and a whole way of doing it that I teach on my coaching program. So you can date the guy, have fun and all that, but at the same time, you know that you are getting to know him. Okay? So after those 3 months, things could be better, but actually, something keep you have to keep vetting the guy. You have to keep assessing the guy. And in my coaching, and this is very extreme, I know, but I want you to meet the right guy and be with the right guy fast. This way is fast. In my coaching, we really, really don't invest totally to the point that we could get hurt until marriage is at least on the table. And if you don't want to get married, some women nowadays don't want to get married. If you don't want to get married, the conversation of the equivalent of being married, okay? Or the ring, or the engagement ring. Because that's when a man really, really commits. And let me tell you something, ladies, and I'm going to finish with this because I don't have more time. But when a man commits, they commit with a good guy. They do. When a man says, yes, I'm going to marry you, you want to marry me, when they really, really get on that space where they chose you, when you are chosen, men will commit because when they did that, when they take that action, they do it from a place of knowing. They know you. They know you're good and you're bad. And they are like, okay, of course I adore the good and I can deal with her bad. Her bad is not that bad for me. So they really, really, really commit. But investing in a guy before we have the conversation of marriage or the equivalent or the conversation of getting engaged, it's really, really risky. It's really, really risky because guys, they don't see their, and again, this is another thing I teach in my program. The ways guys see the relationship is not the same way we see it. It's different. So, alrighty. You are welcome, Sherry. Thank you so much. Oh, Susan, you are a superstar. I am just, I'm telling you, ladies, the women that are showing up in my life are incredible. I can't believe the massive amount of powerful, beautiful, willing to do the work that are around me. And I want to tell you, that was me. That was me 20 years ago. And I just made it fun. And everything was an opportunity to grow. And, and if the guy ghosted me, my thing was next, next, next. Oh, thank you, Shari, for showing your face. Oh, and Claudia, thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies, you rock. You know that I'm available to you, so you can contact me anytime, okay? I'm not going anywhere. You're welcome, Rona. Thank you, Rona, for being here. Yes, let's have standards, ladies. Standards are about us. Expectations are about him. We can only control us, okay? If we can. I mean, if you're like me, gosh, I have a sweet tooth, and with Halloween just happening here, I even had to get a cavity fixed. I need to stop that. Anyway, I digress. All my love to you. Bye. Have a good Sunday.